Today's a huge day. It's one of the biggest days in the history of Bitcoin, probably the biggest day in the history of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a 15-year-old asset, and today the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States, approved 11 exchange-traded funds to trade Bitcoin. Well, I could tell you a couple things about it, and then I'm going to tell you how you can play it. So the first thing is, there's not a lot of liquidity. There are a lot of people that have been hodling, it's called, hanging on for dear life, all right, or holding Bitcoin, and they've taken custody of it. They put it on their own wallets, right? They've taken it off the exchanges. So that means it's not very liquid. Couple that with the fact that now people are like, well, it's legitimate. BlackRock's buying it, and ARK Invest, Cathie Woods is buying it, and all these other ETFs are going to be legitimately buying it, and they're approved by the SEC. So now they feel comfortable. They should have been feeling comfortable over the last 2 to 5 years, but okay, whatever. And so now they're going to be buying. So the demand is going to shoot up. When the demand shoots up in a product and the liquidity is not there, that's going to create almost like a short squeeze. It's going to squeeze the price up. At least that's what I think is going to happen. I could be wrong. This could be a buy the rumor and sell the news kind of thing. But so far, since the approval, we've been up about 6%. Which is nowhere near where I think it's going to go. I really think Bitcoin is going a lot higher. I don't know when, and I don't care when, because Bitcoin is not an investment for me. Bitcoin is an insurance policy for me, okay? And I run a hedge fund that holds some Bitcoin as well. So what I want to say here is that there's a way to play it using covered calls. You know, the income strategy that I talk about all the time. But it's not going and doing these ETFs. I've read through the prospectuses of these ETFs, and there are still some questions for me. Now, it's a little bit more legitimate because the SEC is passing off it, but there's questions on the custodial issues behind it, the liquidity issues are behind it. Like when you go to liquidate it, they're going to give you Bitcoin, or they're going to give you dollars that are declining in value. Those are the questions that I have, and some other ones as well, as governance and things like that, but you don't need to get into that. How do you make money from it? Let's talk about it. Well, there's a company called MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is a 25-something-year-old software company. They've been a little company just running around out there on the NASDAQ, and they are run by a guy named Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor is this brilliant engineering kind of guy, and he's not just brilliant because he's an engineering kind of guy. He's brilliant because he takes engineering principles and he uses them to explain to people why Bitcoin makes sense. Now, in 2012, this guy didn't buy it. He was like, this is a Ponzi scheme, and I don't believe in it. And until 2020, he was not a believer. He was a skeptic. And then he saw it. He started to see the scarcity aspect. He started to see the utility of it. He started to see that it was the only scarce money that's ever been created. Okay? Because they can print an unlimited amount of dollars or euros or yen or renminbi or whatever currency. But you can't make any more than 21 million Bitcoin. And 19 million have already been made. And we got another 110 years to make the rest of them. When you put all that together, there is going to be a squeeze on Bitcoin. And again, I don't know when. And by the way, this is not investment advice. This is education and information. You know, you need to do your own research and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just talking about it. How do you make money on this? Well, you can do it through MicroStrategy. And so you know me, I like to have income, right, while I wait. And so I'm going to show you how you buy the stock and sell the call and create income. Here's the option chain on MicroStrategy. And MicroStrategy is moving all over the place. But you can see today the stock is down 4%. Now, let me tell you a little bit about MicroStrategy. So when Michael Saylor got the bug to start buying Bitcoin, he basically backed up the truck for this company. And he said, we're gonna take all of our operating profit and we're gonna buy Bitcoin. We're gonna go out and raise money and we're gonna buy more Bitcoin. We're gonna tell the shareholders what we're doing. If they don't like it, they can sell out and dump it. Most of them said, yeah, let's do this. And he went and borrowed money and raised more money, and they started backing up the truck on Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin didn't go straight up at that point. It kind of went up and down, and then it really went down, and it's been there for about a year. And this year, it's almost tripled the top performing asset this year. MicroStrategy, I think at this point, has 180,000 shares of Bitcoin. They're the largest corporation that owns any Bitcoin. To date, they're the largest holder of note, people that are known to be holding Bitcoin. And I believe that Michael Saylor in the next few years will be one of the world, if not the first trillionaire, will be one of the first trillionaires because he owns and controls so much Bitcoin. So MicroStrategy has 180,000 Bitcoin. You better believe that it's a proxy for what Bitcoin is doing. MicroStrategy is at 541.45, down 25 bucks, 24 bucks. What I would recommend is you go out and buy the stock 541.45 and you sell the 565s against it. Now the 565s are trading for between 1575 and 1785. You probably get a fill somewhere in the middle of maybe 1650. So let's take a look at the calculator and see what the calculator says you would make. All right, so filling in the calculator, you get 541.45. You put the short call price in there, about 1650. The strike price is 565. So it's a little out of the money because I fully expect it to bounce. It may not, it may keep going down. You know, this could be a sell the news deal. That's fine. But if it goes to 565, I'm happy to make the 1650 on the call and then the rest of the increase, another $24. So let's say we buy 1,000 shares. If that's not, you know, if that's too much money for you, you can lop off a zero and you can cut everything down by a zero here as far as the non-percentage numbers. And if it's not enough, you can add a zero and you can end up buying $5.25 million of this. But it's 1,000 shares with 9 days remaining. So I'm going to sell 565 for 1650. That gives me 3% juice. Basically, it's a 9-day trade. And so you're going to get 3%. It's about a 3.14 after you factor in the deduction for the short. Annualized, it's 127% return if the stock just does this over and over again, so you can compare. So this is how you play MicroStrategy if you think it's going higher. This is how you play Bitcoin if you think it's going higher. You buy the stock at 541.45 or somewhere thereabouts. You sell the strike at 565. You pick up the $16.50 of income, and you make your 3% if it goes up to 565. If it doesn't go to the 565, you at least got $16.50, lowering your base price, your basis in the stock, down to $524.95. So you can keep doing this and get income every week. This has got some implied volatility on it, so you can make some decent amount of income at the money. Pays you pretty good income as well. That's how you can play the Bitcoin trade. It is a historic day. There is a way to play it without having to buy BlackRock or ARK Invest or any of the other ETFs that are getting approved and the questions that surround them. And you can use MicroStrategy as your proxy for Bitcoin. Might work, might not, but I think it's a pretty good bet. Hope that helps. Have a great day.